Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 3. So I am going to kind of give us a little bit of a tour of week 3 like I have been doing for the previous 2 weeks. I just wanted to do a quick reminder that we have this community learning space. So if you have any questions, you can post to that Padlet and some of us can help answer the questions that you might have. And then this week, we're going to take a closer look at culture. So I do appreciate all of you are getting your assignments in on time. Your video notes are top notch. I was so excited about that because not only are you watching the videos, but then you're sharing those key ideas, and all of you have done really well on that so far. Don't forget to take your quiz each week, and you do get 2 attempts for that quiz. I did remove the time limit, and so you have 2 attempts. It will take the highest grade. And so just make sure that you're doing that. That's just kind of, I'm using those as formative assessment just so I can see what concepts that you might be struggling with or concepts that you might be, doing really well with, and then things I might need to maybe reteach or add some things to our shell. So make sure that you're taking those every week. So week 3 is a closer look at culture. So you'll see we have our overview of learning objective tasks, the video notes, the week 3 quiz, and then this week you have a journal entry due that is about CMU teacher dispositions, which I'm going to go over in just a second. So if we click on the module overview and tasks, you will notice that this week you're going to read chapter 1, pages 1 through 30, and then read chapter 2, pages 43 to 48, and then read We Got This, the part 1 introduction, which is pages 1 through 7. And then I want you to review the MDE Code of Ethics and the CMU teacher dispositions, which we'll talk more about. And then you have 5 videos to watch. And then this week, you're going to submit the week 3 quiz, the video notes, and your journal. It's not what is privilege. I'm going to remove that. Your journal is actually about CMU dispositions. And then your group should be putting together your project plan. So that'll be who's in your group, what role you're going to be researching for your educational profile project, and then the host of your group will submit that project plan. So hopefully you've all met or are communicating via email and developing what your project is going to look like. So this week, the objective is to, so once you've engaged with all of the content, you should be able to explain how prejudice and discrimination influence systems level educational policies and practices from both the historical and contemporary perspective. So meaning, what did things look like in the past and what do they look like today? Okay, and then down here, I'm trying to periodically put in knowledge checks, meaning these are not graded. I just want a quick check in to see where you're at and what you're thinking. So for this week's knowledge check, it's a teacher notices several children speak a language other than English at home and selects read alouds and writing prompts that connect to their cultures and family stories. The teacher encourages use of home language in discussion and honors dialect in early writing, while explicitly teaching academic English as an additional resource. Does this teacher meet the MDE standards for teaching the whole child? So you'll just answer that, and then you can read the second one as well. So these 2 questions are kind of giving you an example of where, like when we talk about the MDE standards and teaching the whole child, and that we have to pay attention to the identities the child brings to the classroom, their experiences, their background, that these are a couple of examples of like, what should that look like? So if a person from MDE walked into your classroom, what should they see? And so these 2 are examples of that. Then I have a short video for you to watch that was I just think it's really important. It talks about how you know someone's highly intelligent. And in this video, she talks about, we know that someone's highly intelligent when they're willing to consider different perspectives, or when they'll say something like, I hadn't really thought of it that way. So I just want you to take a minute and read that or watch that, because that's what this course is about. This course isn't about you changing your beliefs. It's about you being open to the idea that other beliefs and other perspectives also have value. And that in doing that and being open to the ways that other people understand things might actually deepen your understanding of those things. And that's what demonstrates high intelligence. That's what higher education is about. Higher education isn't about telling you what to think. It's about teaching you how to think. Like, how do we question things that challenge our beliefs, or how do we stay open to the perspectives of other people when they run really counter to our own core beliefs. And so that's why I think this is really important. It's so relevant to this particular class, but just in life in general. So we know that people are highly intelligent when they can talk about their own beliefs, but also hear other people's beliefs and then leave some room for maybe some changes. Okay. Then you're going to read the MDE Code of Ethics and the CMU Teaching Dispositions. So these are really important. So again, this course is based on the MDE professional standards, also the MDE Code of Ethics, and we're responsible for making sure you understand what the CMU teaching dispositions are. So I'm going to walk you through those in just a second. So some things I want you to think about, and you're going to include this in your video notes this week. I want you to notice what you notice about both sets of expectations related to teaching. So start your video notes this week with the 5 questions below regarding the MDE Code of Ethics and the CMU teaching dispositions. So the first one is, where do you see a connection between MDE's Code of Ethics and the content of this class? 2, where do you see a connection between CMU teaching dispositions and the content of this class? 3, what specific attitudes, values, and beliefs does CMU expect to see of a future teacher who is dedicated to equitable, just, and inclusive practices? In terms of university coursework related to this teaching disposition, which bulleted items do you feel like you already excel at? And which bulleted items do you feel you could improve on? So these last 2 questions, I don't want a lengthy response because you're actually going to address those in more detail in your journal. So I don't want you to spend a lot of time on 4 and 5. Actually, just think about 4 and 5 and only answer the first 3, okay? In your notes, your video notes, just answer the first 3. Save 4 and 5 for your journal, but I just wanted you to be thinking about them as you were looking through the documents themselves. So first we'll take a look at the Code of Ethics. So the MDE Code of Ethics are all about the responsibility to the profession. So A is demonstrates responsibility to oneself as an ethical professional by, and then there's 7 items that I want you to read through and think about. Fulfills the obligation to address and attempt to resolve ethical issues. Promotes and advances the profession within and beyond the school community. Demonstrates commitment to high standards of practice. Demonstrates responsible use of data, materials, research, and assessment. Acts in the best interest of all students. So that's so important. And it also speaks, kind of giving you a tip here, it kind of connects back to the MDE professional standards where we're supposed to be teaching the whole child. Respects the rights and dignity of students. Demonstrates an ethic of care. Maintains student trust and confidentiality when interacting with students in a developmentally appropriate manner and within appropriate limits. Promotes effective and appropriate relationships with parents and guardians. Promotes effective and appropriate relationships with colleagues. Promotes effective and appropriate relationships with the community and other stakeholders. Promotes effective and appropriate relationships with employers. And then understands the problematic nature of multiple relationships. So this is your, oh, there's more related to technology, of course, the ethical use of technology. So read through this document real carefully, take notes. There's a glossary if there's some, if there are some terms that you're not familiar with. So you're going to read through this Code of Ethics. I would strongly suggest that you actually download this and print it and keep it. Or if you are like to keep things electronically, at least download it and save it somewhere. They're really important as you move through this program. You're going to notice that there's some connection between the MDE Code of Ethics and our dispositions. So I would actually encourage you to download both of these and keep them. So the Dispositions Handbook is our CMU teacher dispositions, and I'm going to make this a little bigger for you. So I want you to go through, you're going to read all of the handbook, but what is important is, so CMU is, we expect our teacher candidates to display 5 critical dispositions. One is that they're passionate about teaching and learning for all students. The second one is they're dedicated to equitable, just, and inclusive practices. The third one is responsive and collaborative communicators. 4 is committed to the profession and lifelong learning. And lastly, ethical and professionally responsible. So these 5 dispositions are what we like to see and what we're expecting of our teacher candidates. So they're broken down even further in the pages that follow. So the first one we're going to focus on is passionate about teaching and learning for all students. So I want you to read this page and pay particular attention here in the university coursework context. So there's 2 contexts we look for this disposition. In your coursework, like what we're doing right now in this class, and then your clinical field work. So when you start going out into the field for early field experiences, pre-student teaching and student teaching, then these dispositions show up in a different way. So right now we're just going to focus on this first column, okay? So we are going to focus in SPE 250 around this one, being passionate about teaching and learning for all students. And then the next one, dedicated to equitable, just, and inclusive practices. So I really want you to focus on these first 2 pages and really think about, what does it look like if I am a teacher candidate who is committed to CMU teacher dispositions? I want to know that I'm doing these things right here. Okay, so read through the rest of them. This entire document is for you, but in SPE 250, we're really focusing on the first 2, but it's really important that you know all of the dispositions, okay? So you'll want to, again, download and keep this somewhere, because another thing to be mindful of is that when you're not demonstrating the teaching dispositions that CMU looks for, we do have a reporting process through the Office of Educator Preparation Programs. And so sometimes instructors might submit a report. We call it a dispositions report. If students are maybe cheating or lying about their clinical hours, or plagiarizing, things like that. Or in a case like this class, like SPE 250, if a student is particularly hostile about the topics that we're discussing versus having open and thoughtful conversation, then that might be cause to file a dispositions report. So it's just important for you to know that we have a reporting process, and the goal is not punitive. Like, we don't report you because we want to get you in trouble. We report you so that we can provide supports to help you grow those skills moving forward. When you get into student teaching, it is a little bit, then it might result in an action plan, or, you know, it does get progressively more disciplinary. So it's important to know that. There's a link here to a video explanation of the CMU teacher dispositions that you can access. This week you have 4 videos to watch and respond to. So again, you're going to use your note paper. Make sure you answer the 3 questions above, and before you get into this, and you write out the title of the video. And then this is what I want you to think about. I want you to share one thing you learned from the video and one question you have about the information presented. So it's real short this time. One thing you've learned, one thing you have a question about, okay? And it's not 5 videos, it's 4, so I will fix that. I made an adjustment because I am expecting you to actually engage a lot this week. You have a whole a pretty significant reading this week, assigned reading, and then you've got the videos and the journal. Plus you're supposed to be still communicating with your small group about your roles for your educator profile project. I'm really hoping that you all have taken a look at the video that I posted about the educator profile project, because I actually talk through an example of it so you can see what it should look like. Hopefully you took time to do that. Okay, so that kind of is just a short overview of what this week looks like. And then you'll take the week 3 quiz. I want to show you the journal. So for your journal response this week, you're going to respond to a couple of questions. So in this class, we'll focus on 2 specific teacher dispositions. The first one is passionate about teaching and learning for all students, and the second is dedicated to equitable, just, and inclusive practices. I want you to look at the behavior indicators, the actions and words that demonstrate each disposition in the university coursework context, so that first column. Explain why these 2 dispositions are important. And then I want you to choose 3 that you feel are strengths for you and explain why. and share concrete examples of how you reflect these actions and words in your courses or other contexts. So you're going to actually have, you're going to choose 3 for the passionate about teaching and learning, and then you're going to choose 3 for dedicated to equitable, just, and inclusive practices. So you'll have a total of 6, 3 for each disposition. Then lastly, I want you to choose 2 that you need to work on developing and explain why. And then share concrete steps you've taken or that you want to take to grow in these areas. So as you look at both of those dispositions and you look at how they should show up in your coursework, what are 2 for each of them that are areas you feel like you could grow in, that you could work on, and then explain that in your journal. So I attach the dispositions for your convenience, and then you're just going to type your entry here. Okay, so hopefully that helps explain what is due this week. So again, kind of a lot, so pace yourself. I think make sure you read early this week. Your video notes could probably wait until later in the week, but you might want to spend a bit of time in the middle of this week doing the CMU teacher dispositions. So if you have questions, just let me know. I'm happy to meet with you. I'm still waiting for some people to submit their preferences for live sessions, and then I'll send out some information about when and where we will have those live sessions for those of you that are interested. So have a great week, and I look forward to connecting with you at some point.